Music. For thousands of years, humans have been hypnotized in a trance by music, appealing to all ages, the young, the elderly. Music has been used for dance, ritual, ceremonies, religious, spiritual, from all cultures, all races, all across the globe. Even used in rituals such as voodoo of West Africa, Santeria of Latin America. Music can take you through portals, and it is very much a spiritual experience. And as you're about to find out, there's more to music than meets the ears. All right, how's everyone doing tonight? So I'm super excited to have y'all with me tonight. Tonight we're gonna be talking about music. This is a subject that I spent a ton of hours researching. It's a dark subject, I'll be honest. Some of you may become upset by what I'm going to reveal tonight about music and some of these artists that are out there spreading all this darkness. But light needs to be shed on darkness. Light needs to be shed on exposing the works of Satan. So, I'm doing this for God. I'm doing this for you guys. Because too many people are deceived. There's way too many people deceived out there. And they're totally asleep to the spiritual reality that we live in. This reality that we live in is way more spiritual than you could ever imagine. And music is 100% a spiritual experience. So let's get started. So Satan was a coveted musician in heaven. He was created specifically to create music to praise God. I believe he specialized in wind and string instruments. Thus, why you see so many rock stars sell their souls to the devil. But we're going to touch on that momentarily. I'm actually going to post up a Bible verse, Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 13, where it describes Satan, how beautiful he was, how he was super talented with musical instruments. So what Satan does is he grants talented musicians power, money, and fame, not only in exchange for their souls, but to glorify him and glorify his kingdom of darkness. And in turn, leading millions to their damnation. He actually tried to do this with Jesus Christ in the New Testament. Luke chapter 4, verse 1 through 13, when Jesus was out in the wilderness fasting for 40 days. Towards the end of it, Satan appeared to him, brought Jesus up to the highest mountain. He offered him the world. He showed him all the different kingdoms all across the earth. And he told Jesus, hey, you want all this? Power, the money, the women, the fame, all that stuff? You can have it as long as you worship me. And you know what Jesus said? He said, no way. I only worship the Father. So, this is a method that is a tale as old as time. Still doing the same thing 2,000 years later. So, in order to understand music and its power over us, we have to understand the science behind music and see how we're biologically wired to love music. So let's go. So what is music? Music is vibrations and frequencies. And depending on how they are coordinated, it can create beautiful harmonics and geometries of sound. So just like you see a beautiful painting or a beautiful building with stunning architecture, a well-written song accomplishes the same thing with beautiful harmonics using the vibrations and the frequencies. So I'm actually going to play a short clip that shows you what sound waves do to matter. So this is what music does to you. This is what music does to your DNA, does to your cells, does to your body, without you realizing it. So you got to realize that every single thing in existence in the universe has a frequency. The earth that we're standing on right now has a frequency. It's called the Schumann resonance. It's 7.83 hertz. Your body has a frequency of, on average, 7.5 hertz. It depends whether you're moving, whether you're sitting still, but on average it's about 7.5 hertz, which means we're naturally in harmony with the earth. So, fun fact actually, white noise, that noise that you hear when it's completely silent and it's like a slight ringing in your ears, that's actually you listening to the frequencies around you, including your own. So for thousands of years, music has actually been played at 432 hertz. Ancient civilizations, such as the ancient Greeks, the ancient Egyptians, all understood that 432 hertz has healing capabilities for humans, that it can literally heal ailments. So Gregorian monks, shamans, they used to chant at 432 hertz. So shamans, they would chant, let's say like someone who was, was sick or had some sort of ailment, they possibly were dying, they would chant 432 hertz for hours on end, and a lot of times it would work. 432 hertz actually has been shown to reduce anxiety, lower blood pressure, and just generally sound pleasurable. So a study was actually done as well, where they compared Gregorian monk chants, shaman chants, classical music, and rock music, and played it with a petri dish full of DNA cells, all that stuff. And what they found was pretty fascinating. What they found was the chants from the monks and the shamans healed the DNA. Classical music healed it a little bit. Rock music damaged DNA. So why did the rock music damage DNA, you may ask? Well, it's a great question. So in the 1950s, the frequency of that music was recorded changed from 432 hertz to 440 hertz. This was done by the International Organization for Standardization. So this was actually a strategic move to lower the vibration of the masses. So you might be wondering, what's the big deal, Carlos? Why does it matter if music is recorded at 432 hertz versus 440 hertz? Well, for one, 440 hertz damages your DNA. It puts your consciousness in disarray, disorganized, lowers your vibration, as well as it doesn't correspond with our natural body harmonics frequency. And essentially what you're doing is you're changing our natural vibration that's given from God and changing it to something that is artificial and takes us away from God. I'm actually going to show a pic real quick of two petri dishes full of water and comparing 432 hertz versus 440 hertz, what it does to the water. See the difference? See how the 432 hertz picture looks beautiful and harmonic and symmetrical, almost serene. And then 440 hertz is completely in disarray, disorganized. You look stressed even looking at it. Our bodies are 70% water. This was a weapon unleashed on human consciousness. So why is music so effective at influencing our minds? So music puts you in a trance-like state. When you're in normal alert consciousness, your brain is functioning at beta frequencies, which is a lot better at filtering out nonsense and just taking in all the good information. When you listen to music, music lowers your brain waves to an alpha state, which is more relaxed, it's more open, and it opens you up to suggestibility. You are quite literally being hypnotized by music. Same thing happens when you watch TV. That's why it's called TV programs. You're being programmed by television. So Satan knows this. He knows this. And he is literally using music to brainwash you and infiltrate your defenses to implant toxic suggestions so it become your reality without you even knowing, realizing it. Pornography does the same thing, but that's a subject for a different video. So when you mix the 440 frequency with the alpha state, as well as the suggestibility, the words that are being suggested through these songs, you have a concoction that can lead to devastating effects. See, music actually creates a portal between the spiritual and physical realm. It implants ideas. It implants wrath, It implants lust, gluttony, pride, greed. This is all done on purpose. It's not an accident. Satan's been studying us for thousands of years. He knows what we like. He knows how to infiltrate our defenses. And music is one of his main weapons. He uses music to destroy us from the inside. He implants demons that make us do things we wouldn't do otherwise. You ever listen to a song at the gym, we'll say, and it makes you angry or pumped up, we'll say? You ever listen to a song and it makes you sexually aroused? What do you think that is? So your subconscious cannot differentiate what's real versus what's not. Your subconscious is like a baby. Literally every single image that you see on TV, it thinks it's real. Same thing with music. Doesn't matter if it's, oh, it's an artist just doing artsy things, or it's just art. It's not art. Satan knows this, right? He's fooling us. He's deceiving the masses, saying that this is all art. Talking about violence, talking about sex, talking about prostitution. Like it's just entertainment. It's not. Why do you think our culture is the way it is right now? When you look at history in the 1950s, music was about three things. It was about God, it was about friendship, and it was about love. Back then, men were gentlemen, women were traditional. They took care of the kids, took care of the husband, took care of the house, and they were happy. North America wasn't nearly as violent. There weren't school shootings back then. There wasn't an opioid crisis, mental health crisis back then. People literally would leave their doors open at night. Nothing would ever happen. There was a sense of community. Then slowly over time, the culture changed. The music changed. The movies changed. Television changed. The masses became more exposed to toxic subject matters, violence, sex, wrath, pride, greed. 7 deadly sins were being suggested through these mediums of music, television, and we just let it happen. Our state of being as a nation right now, North America, Europe, Latin America, across the world, is because of these mediums being weaponized against us. So, fast forward to today. What's music about, right? We went from friendship to hatred towards others. We went from love to sex. We went from God to Satan. It's no coincidence why mental health, mental illness is at an all-time high. You better believe music, TV, the media, all played a huge role into the mental health crisis that we're currently experiencing. So what are some tools used by these artists to infiltrate our subconscious? One tool that many artists use is chanting, which is an ancient technique from the Far East, from northern India, Eastern Asia. Chanting is the repeating of words to infiltrate our subconscious. It can be used either to heal people or to hurt people. In the case of when it's hurting people, it's black magic. So how chanting works is when you repeat words over and over again, it adds more power to the words. And if someone is listening to these words, the chants will be implanted into the subconscious mind, thus will be tied to the person's soul. Essentially, you have a soul tie with a song. So if you've ever had a song randomly pop up in your head out of nowhere, that's because the song was implanted by the artist. 90% of the time it's from the chorus, because the chorus is repeated multiple times, aka it's chanted multiple times. So I'm gonna give you guys an example of an artist using chanting for evil purposes. Y'all know the song Percocets, or Mask Off, My Future? It goes, Percocets, Molly Percocets, Percocets, Molly Percocets. So this song is only 3.5 minutes long. Yet Future mentions drugs 29 times. The song was released in 2017. What crisis happened after 2017? Around 2017 and onwards. What happened? The opioid crisis. You can't walk downtown in any city in North America without seeing people overdosing and dying off drugs. Now, I'm not saying, don't get it twisted, I'm not saying that Future was fully 100% responsible for this crisis, but he does have 500 million views on YouTube for this song. You know what the worst part is? Future doesn't even use drugs. He's sober.
Like I told y'all earlier, you motherfuckers enter the rapture. And if ain't nobody flying up to heaven right now, obviously all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me. So, let's get it. Oh, you already here. I'm so sorry. You can't get out. You're stuck. It's over. You heard the song 1,000,000 times and you didn't even know. That's up.
That was a clip of Lil Uzi Vert telling his fans at a concert that he is bringing them to hell with him. What a real charmer he is. Many of these artists will clue you in what their intentions are. They will provide these clues through their clothing, their album covers, their lyrics, and many other ways. These artists do not care about their fans. Nearly all famous musicians have sold out and are in it for the money. In return, they have to sell out their fans and bring them down with them. This is a harsh reality, and it needs to be exposed. The Bible says, have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. It is shameful even to mention what the disobedient do in secret. That's Ephesians chapter 5, verse 11 through 12. So what we got to do is we got to shed light on darkness. That's the only way we'll win the spiritual war. This next section, the goal is to shed light on the deception being fed by these artists. That way, you can discern the good and the bad and make the right decisions in terms of what music you're allowing to infiltrate your mind. We have here Jay-Z with the black magic sweater. Many musicians and actors are heavy into the occult. Jay-Z is openly telling you he's into black magic. Not to be outdone by her husband, Beyonce is pictured here with the biblical 4 horses of the apocalypse, said to introduce the apocalypse during the end times. The red horse brings forth war on earth. The see-through horse brings famine. The white horse brings conquest. The black horse brings death. So what is Beyonce trying to tell us here? Is she trying to tell us that the apocalypse is upon us? You be the judge. Latin music isn't safe either. We have Bad Bunny here chained up to demons, screaming in a pool of blood. Here we have Bad Bunny paying homage to Baphomet and evil deity. Notice the hoof feet, the skirt. Baphomet's known to be non-binary, having both male and female parts. Bad Bunny's been pushing the gender lines for a few years now, pushing the alphabet agenda for the kingdom of darkness. Pictured here we have Justin Bieber, the Biebs, wearing the bigger than Satan shirt with a portrait of Marilyn Manson in the front. Rihanna is pictured here with the serpent, representative of Lucifer. Taylor Swift is also pictured with the serpent. Here's A$AP Rocky on set for his music video, What's Up? He's inside a pentagram. Pentagrams are used in the occult world to summon demons. Here we have Drake throwing out the 666 hand signal. Drake claims he is the sixth god, paying homage to his hometown of Toronto, Ontario. However, we all know 6 is the number of the beast, and he is not God, and that is blasphemous, the fact that he's calling himself a god. Drake also has a clothing brand called OVO, which pays homage to the OTO, which was a secret occult group headed by Aleister Crowley, who is known as the father of Satanism. Drake also released an album called If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, with praying hands next to a 6. What is Drake trying to tell us here? Usually this sentence coincides with someone taking their own life. What is he trying to say with the praying hands next to a 6? Could he be praying to Satan? Could this be a message to someone close to him, that he signed his soul to the devil? These are the questions you have to ask when dealing with these artists. Drake even has a verse from his song called Sneakin', where he states, "This is all God's doing, man. You can't plan it, but if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic." You know, to the average person, they may think he's being clever with this line, but he's not joking. He's essentially admitting he is not overtly satanic, but you have to look really close at the details of his work to uncover his dark affiliations. Drake knows exactly what he's doing. And this is actually the perfect segue to our next topic. Many artists use album covers to confess their sins and spiritual affiliations and subconsciously tell you the truth of their intentions or state of being. Here we have Kendrick Lamar on his 2017 album cover for Damn. Notice his facial expression, posture, and demeanor. Does Kendrick look happy to you? No, he looks miserable. Almost looks as if he's miserable that he sold his soul and can't get it back. See, the album title is Damn. What is he trying to tell us? Is he trying to tell us that he's damned? Notice the bright red font. The letters are all capped. Notice the red bricks in the back. Even the joints in between the bricks are red. They're supposed to be gray. See, you've heard the saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Every little detail on this cover, Kendrick's trying to tell you a story. Kendrick even goes as far as confessing his sins and intentions in his music videos. In his video for Humble, you see several young men with their faces covered in burning ropes, standing behind Kendrick, whose head is also burning in the flame. Kendrick is not only telling us that he is damned, but he's also telling us that his army of fans are going with him as well. J. Cole is another superstar rapper that confesses his dark secrets through his album covers. This is his 2018 album titled K.O.D., Kids on Drugs, King Overdose, Kill Our Demons. Besides the heartwarming title, we have J. Cole painted as a stereotypical king, implying he's hip-hop royalty. His eyes are rolled back as if he's profoundly high on substance. There are 6 young people below him. The bottom 3 are a blonde girl sniffing a substance, we'll call it Pepsi, a boy sipping on lean, and another boy smoking a joint. Above them, 2 more young people. One of them has his mouth opened with what appears to be drugs on his tongue. The figure next to him and above him seems to be himself, transforming to what appears to be a skull. Could this be implying that he's losing his life and or his soul? Whatever the case, he looks unsettled and seems to be heading into J. Cole's pinky ring. What is J. Cole telling us? I'll leave this up to interpretation. In 21 Savage's 2017 album, aptly titled Isa, he is mocking Christianity as a religion. The name Isa is Arabic for Jesus. However, there's nothing holy about this artwork. You can see 21 Savage in a pinkish red environment with burning palm trees in the back. Why are they burning? Is he in a burning place? You see hundreds of dollars of bills stacked on each other with a cup of lean. Maybe 21 is admitting he's okay with going to a burning place, as long as he has money, lean, and burning palm trees. Who knows? The tongue has the power of life and death. Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 21. When you listen to music and you're in an alpha state, your mind is in a state of suggestibility, meaning you're essentially being hypnotized. And any of these words being spoken are going straight into your subconscious, being planted as seeds to one day manifest as your reality. This happens without you even realizing it. Here are a few examples. Our first artist is Taylor Swift from her 2014 song Blank Space. Because we're young and we're reckless, we'll take this way too far. It'll leave you breathless or with a nasty scar. Got a long list of ex-lovers. They'll tell you I'm insane, but I've got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. So what Taylor's doing is she's essentially telling her listeners it's okay to be hyper-aggressive with your partner. and be physically violent with them. It's all a part of a normal relationship. And when she says, it'll leave you breathless or with a nasty scar, that literally means you may possibly die being in a relationship with Taylor Swift, or at minimum, leave you with a physical mutilation. She also mentions that she's had a long list of ex-lovers that think she's mentally ill. Ladies, this is not a person you want dating advice from, or even look up to. She's clearly sick. And men, take notes. If a woman has had multiple partners, and all of them think she's mentally ill, you should probably stay away from her. So in another section of the same song, Blank Space, 2014, Taylor goes on to say, boys only want love if it's torture. Don't say I didn't, say I didn't warn ya. Boys only want love if it's torture. Don't say I didn't, say I didn't warn ya. She's actually practicing an ancient technique called chanting, as we discussed earlier in this video. Not only is she telling her audience that young women, mostly young women, that men only want a relationship when they are being tortured mentally/physically, she's also repeating it multiple times to really ingrain it in the subconscious of the listener. This is witchcraft in the fullest extent. She's using her words to cast a spell, and that spell is to entrance her audience to behave in a toxic, selfish way to lead them to their self-destruction. Our next artist is Cardi B with her 2020 song, WAP. My name is fire, Punan Indasani. It's going in dry and it's coming out soggy. I ride on that cops is behind me. Yeah, and now he trying to sign me. Woo. Thank you, Cardi B. The world really needed to hear how you ride that thing like the cops are chasing you. Folks, this song has over 1 million views on YouTube. I'm not even going to break down these lyrics. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you what Cardi B did when her daughter Culture walked into the room while Cardi B was performing WAP Instagram live show.
Oh yeah, kids are here. I forgot.
There you go. Cardi B's reaction says it all. Our next artist is the popular country singer Chris Stapleton with his 2020 single, Devil Made Me Think Twice. Daddy always gave me good advice. Jesus tried to steer me in the right direction, but the devil always made me think twice. Devil always made me think. Someday, I'm going 6 feet under, and when they got me standing at the gate, they'll tally up my sins and won't let me in. Say, son, you're just a little too late. Son, you're just a little too late. Wow. This song is dark. If you actually listen to it, Chris does a great job of packing these lyrics into a soulful, upbeat country song about selling his soul to the devil. So check this out. The message remains the same. Chris is openly admitting his spiritual allegiance with the devil. So Chris also has another song that I wanted to briefly touch on called Broken Halos. Don't go looking for the reasons. Don't go asking Jesus why. We're not meant to know the answers. They belong to the by and by. They belong to the by and by. This is completely blasphemous, for Jesus himself says in the New Testament, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open to you. Chris is subconsciously implanting the idea that Jesus will not provide the answers, and it's not even worth exploring a relationship with God to find the answers. This is exactly the message Satan wants people to receive.
Subliminal messages.
There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. Luke chapter 12, verse 2. A major weapon being used by the kingdom of darkness to influence our minds is subliminal messages implanted in the music we listen to. Our conscious mind, that is, the thoughts that we are aware of, only constitute 0.5% to 5% of our total consciousness. The other 95% is processed by our subconscious mind, which is hidden from us, but constantly recording and processing information that we are completely oblivious about. Precisely to the smallest detail is taken and implanted into your subconscious forever. Your subconscious mind also cannot differentiate what's real versus what's not. This is why when you watch a horror movie, you get scared, or you watch a sexually suggestive movie, you become aroused. Your subconscious thinks it's real. There are 3 main types of subliminal messaging in music. These are, number 1, backmasking. This is where a message is implanted in a song and the only way to hear it is to play the song backwards. This was quite popular in the 60s and 70s, but still is a popular method to implant messages to unsuspecting listeners. Number 2, subaudible messaging. This is when a message is recorded into a song and it's placed either in a low volume or spoken quickly so that it is nearly impossible to decipher, but the subconscious will still catch it. Number 3, subvisual messaging. This is very common with artists as well. This is where they're going to give you clues in their art and photography, showing you the truth in plain sight, while hiding under the guise of art. We'll start off with the famous rapper Eminem. Eminem has had a long history of controversy since he came on the scene in 1999. But did you know he has a hidden message backmasked into I'm Not Afraid? Give this a listen. Eminem has been suspected for many years being involved in the occult. There have even been accusations that he sacrificed his childhood friend, Proof, when he was gunned down in a nightclub in 2006. Coincidentally, Eminem's career experienced a revival after Proof's passing. Could there be some merit to this accusation? Pictured here, we have Eminem in a tub full of blood. This is from his album art for his song titled 3 a.m. 3 a.m., in case some of you didn't know, is known as the witching hour, where the spiritual view is at its thinnest. Prime time to summon demons and cast spells. So why is Eminem in a tub full of blood, you may ask? Well, in the occult world, blood is sacred and is seen as a life force. A spell casted using blood is extremely powerful and effective. And when a practitioner bathes in it, it is said they are invigorated with immense energy and power. This is known in the occult world as bloodbath. Eminem is showing the world that he's dedicated occultist and is not afraid to show his dark affiliations to the masses. 3 6 Mafia was one of the biggest rap groups during the 2000s, with hits such as Stay Fly and Pop on My Collar. You couldn't get away from their hypnotic beats and catchy lyrics, but they had a dark side, very dark. See, 3 6 Mafia from the very beginning weren't shy with their spiritual affiliations. As you can see, DJ Paul has thrown up the devil horns on their album Most Known Unknown. And you can also see Juicy J rocking the KISS shirt. It is rumored that KISS is an acronym for Knights of Satan's Service, with songs like Heaven's on Fire and God of Thunder. That is quite fitting. 3 6 Mafia are not shy to show their spiritual affiliations on their album covers. Here we can see on the cover of Mystic Styles, DJ Paul on the cross mocking Jesus Christ. The album is also called Mystic Styles. Maybe they mean more than just their rap flows. Their name is also 666 Mafia, just in case it's not obvious enough whose team they are on. And just to add salt to their wound, their record label was named Hypnotized Minds, with a Grim Reaper pictured with a pendulum with the time either on 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. I would bet it's the latter, for 2 a.m. is a time when sorcerers cast their spells. What are they trying to tell us? Are they trying to say they're hypnotizing young people to their doom? They even have a song titled Stay Fly, where they have a female voice singing in the background of the chorus saying, Lucifer, he's my king, he's my God. Listen closely. So let's go back in time. The year was 2008. This young, handsome bloke, that was me in high school. This was my group of friends. Back then, myself and the kids I grew up with, we used to listen to the same music. 3 6 Mafia, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and many other artists of the era. At the time, I was completely blind to the darkness that I was allowing into my psyche, into my soul. Fast forward to today, those same kids I went to high school with, 2 of them committed suicide, 3 more went to prison, 2 more overdosed on drugs, and 1 became homeless. I stopped listening to overtly satanic music in my early 20s when I realized how evil the music I was listening to really was. Sometimes other people aren't so lucky. I look back on my life and I remember these people, the interactions we had, discussing these artists, talking about our favorite songs. I realize I realize now how powerful the influence was on us at the time and how it affected our lives. So I'm making this video in their memory. I pray their souls find peace. And I pray that some of you that watch this video open your eyes to the very real evil that exists in our world, that exists in the very music that we love and listen to. Música. Música. Satanism and the music industry have been intertwined for several decades, possibly longer. What happens is struggling artists that have struggled for several years turn to selling their souls, i.e. selling their morals, to make it big. And some even sign literal blood contracts. Like they'll sign the contract in blood with the devil. Like there'll be like a ritual going on around them and they'll prick their finger and sign it. And some of them do realize what they're doing and they regret it shortly after. Some of them don't care. They just want the money, the fame. The way the blood contract works is that you either sacrifice a family member / friend, or you sacrifice yourself. And it doesn't have to be right away. Sometimes it may take a few months, a few years, but eventually Satan does call. This is why you see many artists die at the young age of 27 Club. Like Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Kurt Cobain died at 27 as well. That's because Satan called to collect at that age. For some reason, that's the age for a lot of artists. Their time runs out. And a lot of other ones, their close relatives mysteriously die. Like Kanye West, he admitted that he sacrificed his own mother. Right? A$AP Rocky as well. He's another one. Every single time he releases an album, someone close to him passes away. There's literally footage of him admitting this.
Time I put out an album, for some strange reason, I always lose somebody close to me. My pops, it was James, it was my sister. Like, I always lose somebody close to me. So, shit feel like, some crazy, like, jinx or something.
This. He's not admitting that he's sacrificing his family members, but he's admitting that it's a strange coincidence that someone close to him passes away every time he releases an album. But yet, he openly has footage of him in a music video inside of a pentagram. Like, it doesn't take a genius to realize what's going on here. So, another method that these Satanists like to use to target children is they will introduce a pop star that's innocent and appeals to children, have really catchy tunes, and just have overall good image to them that their parents approve of. And over time, that the dark agenda begins to expose itself, and this innocent artist all of a sudden becomes a dark character that influences the children who have grown up with these artists, by the way, influences them to follow their footsteps and become corrupt in their ways. So a few examples that I'll give is the good girl gone bad agenda, which a prominent person was Miley Cyrus. She used to be Hannah Montana, super innocent Disney character. When she first came out, had all these pop songs. What's that one song? It's a Party in the USA, or whatever. Super innocent, super well-meaning, comes from a good family. All of a sudden, she's twerking on stage for Robin Thicke, right? That wasn't an accident. She was made to do that. Demi Lovato, same thing. Disney character as well. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she just becomes super demonic. She becomes a drug addict, almost dies, which I think that was fake, to be honest. And she becomes demonic. Then finds Jesus, then becomes demonic again. She's just a hot mess, that one. And then Lil Nas X, demonic alphabet agenda. He gets introduced as an innocent cowboy guy with that song. I forget what it's called, but it's about a horse. And out of nowhere, literally overnight, this guy just becomes demonic and he becomes gay. Like he just comes out of the closet, which it's been rumored that he's not even gay in real life. That he's been paid. It's part of his contract to come off as a homosexual and come off as a Satanist. So that tells you, like, he full on sold his soul to the devil, right? So it's crazy stuff, man. Absolutely wild. All right, so we're gonna go over the holy scriptures of both the Quran and the Bible pertaining to music and or false idols. So first one, Surah Al-Hajj 22:30. So abstain from the pollution of idols and abstain from false vain words. So essentially it's telling us to stay away from influencers, celebrities, and stay away from their lies and words that are anti-God. Hosea, this is the Bible now. Hosea chapter 4 verse 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because you have rejected knowledge. So what God's saying here is that his people, the Israelites, were destroyed because they didn't know any better. And God was angry at the priests because they rejected teaching the Israelites true knowledge. Sounds a lot like our current state of affairs in North America and our government. Anyways, Acts chapter 26 verse 18. To open their eyes and turn them from darkness to light, and from the power of Satan to God, so that they may receive forgiveness of sins and a place among those who are sanctified by me. Yeah, that's pretty powerful, you know. I think that's what the world needs right now. Is people to take the lead to teach the average person the truth about the reality we live in and all deception that's going on, because everything is deception these days. You can't look anywhere without being deceived. Music's deception, TV's deception, movies are deception, some books are deception. Other people are, you know, sometimes I meet people and I talk to them and I'm convinced that none of their thoughts are from them. That all of it is just straight programming. The jokes that they say, or the conversations that they come up with. Everything's from television, from movies, from music. There's not an original thought for a lot of people out there. I'm not gonna say the majority, but for a lot of people. So it's wild stuff. And for the next part over here, I just want to touch base. So in Greek mythology, there's a story about the sirens. The sirens were beautiful sea beings. They're kind of like mermaids that hung around the ocean, large bodies of water, and they would sing and they'd have beautiful voices. And they would hypnotize sailors, the men that were at sea. And the sailors would be lured to their deaths down to the cliffs and the rocks, where the sirens would feast on their bodies. And this is exactly what's going on right now with mainstream music. I want to remind you, I'm talking about this entire video that I just made was about mainstream music. There's still a lot of good music out there, but it's lesser known. You have to really dig deep to find this music. But going back to what I was saying, mainstream music, man, and its effect on the masses. You know, instead of falling off the cliffs, the masses are falling into hell. What Satan uses is he uses beautiful and charming servants to seduce the masses to a burning end, i.e. celebrities. And it's up to us to not only save ourselves, but our families, our friends, and bringing them the light of truth, the light of God. See, it's us against the world, literally. But guess what? We have God on our side. That's all we need. Thanks for watching. Peace and blessing.